Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Hope everyone is doing well. Let me mute that. I wanted to see how it sounded, and it sounds pretty good. So, those of you that are watching, I cannot see who's watching right now, but those of you that are watching, many of you know about the trials that I cover and stuff like that on here. And well, yesterday we had the trial of Lori Vallów DAYBELL, Lori Daybell, cult mom, Lori, whatever her name is anymore. Her trial started yesterday. So in Arizona, many of you know that she was sentenced to 3 life sentences out of Idaho for the murder of her children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, and for the conspiracy to kill her current husband, Chad Daybell. Well, hey, Nye, good morning. How do I sound? Anyway, her current husband, Chad, who is also serving some life sentences, Lori is conspired with him to kill his wife. It's a whole big old mess, bunch of baloney is what it was, and it's unnecessary. People lost their lives because of these two. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, these two invalids, because they were money hungry. Lori thought that she was Miss Hot Stuff. Thank you, Nye, so much. Lori thought she was so much of the poo that she just, yeah. In my personal opinion, I feel like her and Chad both are where they need to be right now. Only I wish that they could go ahead and get a death warrant signed so that way Chad could go ahead and be off this earth and completely in a pet cemetery, like where he put poor JJ and poor Tylee and Tammy. I mean, so that's just my personal opinion. But yesterday the trial kicked off. Started out a little bit with the, basic, hey Burden, great to see you. Yesterday started off with a sidebar. I mean, it was the first thing that happened was a sidebar. It's a good thing I was not drinking because, yeah, I probably would have been toasted by the time the actual trial began. But the sidebar was in reference to Brandon Boudreaux. I'm not good with saying his last name, who is the ex-husband of Lori's niece, Melanie, I believe was her name, Melanie or something other. Anyhow, they had attempted to shoot him, but, well, old brother Alex Cox, who is no longer on this earth now as well, um, he missed, or yeah, he missed. So thank you, Burden. So we got that. She was upset. Lori kind of was upset, wanting to know about what if she didn't want Brandon in the courtroom. Kind of like she didn't want Nate Eaton, a journalist from East Idaho News, who has been on this case since it began. She didn't want him in there either, so she put him on the witness list, Nate Eaton, and she put Brandon Boudreaux on the witness list. And well, guess what? Both of them have been stricken from the witness list, and they do not have to testify and can be in the courtroom. So we then had an issue with a juror, which juror number 3, I believe it was, he was late or something. I'm not 100%. I thought he was late, but I was wrong. He actually had an issue with his job that he was unaware of when they did the door or whatever. So he was excused. Jury selection took less time than what many had thought it would take. I mean, it was like last week. It started on the 31st, and we were seated by, I believe, Wednesday. So, yeah, it was a quick jury selection, unlike the one in Idaho. So, I am going to play a video. I do have some notes I want to go over real quick from the Reddit community. The the poster for the Reddit is a friend of mine, and they are wonderful. And so, some quick notes. Let me find it here. Off of opening statements. I thought that on opening statements, the prosecutor did wonderful. So, in July 2019, Lori and Charles were married. She lived in Arizona. He lived in Texas. By then, she already wanted to be with Chad. She wanted the $1 million life insurance policy, Social Security for herself and JJ. Lori and Chad believed that anyone, I mean anyone, who disagreed with them were a dark evil spirit, for example, zombies. They were part of the religion, the LDS, and I can't see chat right now, so if anyone, I'll have to get back to that in a moment. But they were part of the LDS religion, and there's a prophet called Nephi who was directed by the Holy Spirit to kill Laban to obtain breastplates and secure the long-term prosperity of his descendants as justification to kill Charles. That's what Lori and Chad did. They just, yeah. Well, on July 9th, Lori invoked this Nephi when she messaged Alex, who is her brother, to provide him with religious authority to kill Charles. Lori and Chad met in 2018 at a book event, a book signing event, and one thing led to another. Lori and Chad hooked up. There was a movie on Lifetime that was about, I think it was Lifetime or Netflix, but it was about the Doomsday Cult parents, and that's what Lori and Chad have been deemed by. Let me see here. Long story short, Charles Vallow reached out for help. Charles Vallow was a victim to the Max, like Lori's children were. Yes, it was scary for Brandon, I'm sure. I'm very sure it had to be scary because I remember when the trial was happening, I could not hardly even watch it whenever they went to talking about the dark spirits and stuff. And I won't touch on that too much because that's just crazy. Lori and Chad are both dark spirits, period. And they just need to be put on an island with the rest of the idiots in the world. And yeah. Oh no, is it? Oh wow. Burton has snow in New York State. Oh wow. We had a freeze here last night. Or they called for a freeze warning last night and night before. So I can sympathize with you. I'm over it myself. I wish it'd make up its mind whether it's gonna be summer or spring or what have you. But anyway, so Lori and Chad conspired to kill Charles Vallow, a man who was married to Lori Vallów DAYBELL for 14, 15 years, I believe. Um, she had a very profitable life living with this man. Yes, we've had plenty of them this way, tornadoes left and right. And I do the storm warnings, so yeah. It's funny you mentioned that storm because if I remember correctly, in the trial in Idaho, wasn't that brought up in the trial about something about storm? Like Lori was in love with the storm or something other. Chad was going to bring the storm or something other. Help me out with that, Birdie, because I cannot remember 100%. But I think that was it because I remember making cracking jokes about it a little, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'll never look at a storm the same way again now, or something like that. Nah, you're no fair. Beautiful sunshine in northern Germany. I always wanted to go to Germany. That would require me getting on an airplane, and I'm not doing it. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to jump right into it, and we're going to share this video I found. It's Lori's opening statement. Prosecutor dead on with her statements, and we'll get to that in a moment too. But here is Lori's opening statement. Let me find it. And let me know how it sounds or whatever.
And worked as an independent contractor, selling life insurance policies and annuities, and owned his own business. The evidence will show that Charles and I purchased life insurance policies early in our marriage, and Charles had them issued to the maximum amount possible to each of us. The evidence will show that Charles was 17 years older than me, and that because of Charles' age and an issue that he had with high blood pressure, the maximum amount of life insurance that could be approved for Charles was $1 million. The maximum amount of life insurance that I could be approved for because of my age and my health was $2 million. The evidence will show that throughout our 13-year marriage, that we always had life insurance policies. When a 10-year policy lapsed, Charles would shop for another company who would approve us for the maximum amount of life insurance. The evidence will show that this was Charles' job. This is what he did. I helped him in this business, and this is what he did. The evidence will show that in 2016, Charles repurchased a new $2 million life insurance policy on me, and he was the sole beneficiary. The evidence will show that Charles and I had a happy marriage for 13 years. That he was, in fact, a baseball player, and that he played high school, college ball, and AAA ball, and that he was, in fact, a left-handed pitcher, a southpaw, they call him, but he was a right-handed batter, as could be attested to by anybody who knew Charles well and his high school baseball coach, Greg Davis. The evidence will show that Tylee was, and in 2014, our family moved from Chandler, Arizona to Kauai, Hawaii. We lived there for 3.5 years and returned to Chandler in 2017. The evidence will show that Tylee was 3 years old when Charles and I got married, and that when she became a teenager, the relationship between Tylee and her stepfather, Charles, became so difficult that Tylee and Charles had to seek a therapist, a family therapist, to stop them from fighting. The evidence will show that together, Charles and Tylee met with this therapist after we moved back to the mainland in 2017. The evidence will show that in April of 2018, Tylee's biological father passed away from a heart attack. And at that time, Charles called Social Security and made an appointment at the Social Security office.
Object to hearsay.
Sustain.
It will show that we did get Social Security for Tylee for her deceased father until she was 18 years old, and she was 15 years old at the time. The evidence will show that Charles and Tylee's fighting increased greatly in January of 2019 when Charles and I temporarily separated. The evidence will show that several people witnessed these terrible arguments between Tylee and Charles that increased to physical in 2019. Charles and Tylee had major increasing arguments, 2 in February of 2019, 1 of March in 2019, which was captured on video, 1 in May of 2019, 1 in June of 2019, and then the worst of all in July 2019. The evidence will show that in March of 2019, Charles pulled JJ out of his special school and moved him to Houston, Texas, while we were temporarily separated. Tylee and I then joined Charles and JJ in Texas in April 2019 to reconcile. The evidence will show that JJ was diagnosed with severe autism when he was 3 years old while we lived in Hawaii. The evidence will show that for 2 years, JJ was attending a school in Gilbert, Arizona, a special school for children with autism. It's called Lauren's Life Academy. The evidence will show that in June of 2019, in JJ's best interest, Tylee, JJ, and I moved back to Chandler, Arizona to re-enroll JJ back in Lauren's Life Academy since he had a difficult time with the Houston, Texas schools with no services for his autism. The evidence will show that Charles and I agreed it was in JJ's best interest to be in school where more services were available to him. So Charles and I rented a house here in Chandler. On the day in question, July 11th, 2019, Charles and I were renting 2 houses, one in Houston, Texas, where he mainly resided, and one in Chandler, Arizona, where I resided with our 2 minor children, Tylee and JJ. By this time, our 3 older boys, Colby, Cole, and Zach, were adults and not living at home any longer. The evidence will show that during the months of June and July, that my husband, Charles Vallow, began to send me threatening text messages. These messages were seen by my sister Summer, and that worried her. The evidence will show that Charles insisted on flying into Phoenix on July 10th, as we've heard from the state. The evidence will show that I advised Charles that he could not stay with us at the Chandler house because he could not get along with Tylee, and I did not want them to get into another fight like they had 3 weeks prior. The evidence will show that it was ultimately decided between Charles and I on text messages that he would stay in a hotel because he traveled for business all the time and stayed in hotels all the time, and that I would book it for him since I worked for him and booked all of his travel. The evidence will show that Charles did in fact fly into Phoenix on Wednesday, July 10th, and stayed in the hotel that I booked for him. The evidence will show that Charles paid to fly my brother Adam Cox into Phoenix from Kansas on the same day, Wednesday, July 10th, 2019. The evidence will show that Charles planned to come to our Chandler home and pick up JJ and drive him to school on Thursday morning, July 11th, 2019. The evidence will also show you that Lauren's Life Academy opens its gates at 8:25 a.m. in the morning. And the evidence will show that Charles showed up at our Chandler residence around 7:30 in the rental car I booked for him on the morning of Thursday, July 11th, 2019. The evidence will show that Charles began texting with my brother, Adam Cox, before he entered our residence, and that Charles and Adam were discussing in their text communications that my other brother, Alex Cox, was at the residence. The evidence will show that on the morning of July 11th, that Tylee was asleep in her room and my brother Alex was asleep in the guest room. The evidence will show that when Charles entered the house, only JJ and I were awake and present. The evidence will show that after we put JJ in the rental car, that Charles came back into the residence to receive his phone, leaving JJ in the front seat of the rental car with the engine running. He was 7 years old. The evidence will show that Charles began to scream at me when I refused to hand him his phone. The evidence will show that Charles' screaming woke up Tylee and Alex. The evidence will show that Tylee came out of her room with a bat to protect me, her mother, from her stepfather, Charles Vallów. The evidence will show that Tylee and Charles fought over the bat, and that after a struggle over the bat, Tylee fell onto the ground. And Charles lifted up the bat to hit Tylee with the bat. The evidence will show that Alex then intervened to protect Tylee from being hit with the bat. He did not have a gun. He was not wearing a shirt. He was pulling up his jeans because he just woke up and came into the room where he heard the screaming. The evidence will show that Alex and Charles got into a physical struggle for the bat and fell onto the ground. The evidence will show that Tylee, who was on the ground, was lifted up by me and sent outside to get away from the struggle and to protect JJ, who was still in the running car, in the rental car in the driveway. The evidence will show that after this struggle on the ground between Charles and Alex, that Charles prevailed with the bat and began to come towards me with the bat as I ran away from him into the kitchen. The evidence will show that at some point while I was running away from Charles, who was chasing me with a bat, that Alex apparently retrieved his gun. The evidence will show that I ran outside to the children and that Alex shot Charles in self-defense. The evidence will show that Tylee and I had both run outside without shoes. The evidence will show that JJ was still in the front seat of the rental car with the engine running and struggling to get out of the car. Tylee was trying to keep him in. The evidence will show that Tylee and I got into the rental car with JJ and drove away. The evidence will show you that I drove the children away from the residence towards JJ's school. Can I grab a tissue?
Yes.
The evidence will show that I drove the children through the Burger King drive-thru that Charles had promised JJ. The evidence will show that we continued to drive towards JJ's school and that the gate was not yet open at JJ's school. So we drove a block west of the school to a Walgreens where I ran in to purchase flip-flops for Tylee and myself so that we could walk JJ into school on the hot pavement. The evidence will show that Tylee and I returned directly to our residence where we met with police in our driveway. The evidence will show that we were spoken to by the Chandler police officers. And the evidence will show that Tylee and I were told by the Chandler police
Start the bidding at $5 million.
Robin Hood Gold members get a 3% IRA match.
Okay, sorry about that there at the end. I think that the videos, the ones that did the video had enough of the evidence will show also. And she kept repeating that over and over and over and over again. Well, guess what, Lori? The evidence now shows that you obviously are not capable of producing any evidence that proves anything otherwise. So let me see here. I want to try to find something real quick. Go back. There's all kinds of videos that just like appeared out of nowhere, like they weren't there, and then all of a sudden they were there. So let me see here. All right, here is the state's opening statement. Let me find that again. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. I don't know. I'm leery of just picking one though, because I don't want to get struck. So hold on a second. You have a new email? I hardly ever emailed you anyway. I just took and would, I would just contact you through Discord. All right, so hold on, let me find this here. La 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 la. So how is everyone doing today? I hope well, I hope fine. Everyone that's in the chat, if I have not said hello to you, hello. Let's see here. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. We have this trial happening. I seen where, all right, thank you, Burden. I seen where Rachel Morin's killer is on trial. Let's see. What else? Oh, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, Diddy, Brother Love, whatever he wants to be called. He's probably saying, show me the love right now in Metropolitan Detention Center. Because he just got hit with a third superseding indictment, which that's a whole nother stream and a whole nother day for that. I almost had gave up on all of that because it's like every day there was a new one. So I was trying to find the state's opening. I can't find it right now. Hold on 1 second. But anyway, we had 3 witnesses yesterday that appeared on the stand. We had a former detective. We had, let's see here. Let me think. We had a former detective. We had the fireman that performed the CPR on Chad. I mean, not Chad. Oops, sorry, on Charles. Then we had the I can't think of the other one that was there. But anyway, long story short, yes, ma'am, I can. Yes, ma'am, I sure can. I'll is there any way you can send it to me in a message though on Discord? That way I'll have it, Burden. But a quick rundown. Let me just jump back here real quick. A quick rundown on the 11th, July 11th, 2019. Lori and Chad had been communicating back and forth. So she was up early that morning, things like that. Charles arrived around 7:35. He texted Adam, which is Lori's other brother, and he's not a dark spirit. He is a good. That up here, huh? What up here? See, y'all confuse me when I'm not like looking. But anyway, Adam told Charles, wait a minute, so he texted Adam that Alex was there. Adam said they are planning something. He also told Charles that Lori blocked his plan to spend the night with Lori. He texted Charles that he was going to text Alex. Charles read the message but didn't respond at 7:49. Adam texted Charles that he and his son were going to play basketball at 8 p.m. to look for a church leader to talk to. Charles didn't read the message. Lori and Alex did. The home that they lived in, there's a interview with the landlord of this home that she wasn't paying for. Charles was paying for it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened that day. I honest to God believe that Lori hit Alex in the head with the bat, or someone did, and it wasn't Charles. I think that they possibly could have hit Charles with the bat, I feel like, but that's a whole nother thing too as well. Please, I'm not sure she got to see my message here. Yeah, I did. I just haven't been able to really. It's complicated. I haven't really been able to. I didn't really get a chance to look at it, but I think I still have it on there. I can look here in a little while. But yeah. Long story short, Charles Vallow should still be alive today. But it was a family tragedy to hear Lori say it from yesterday. And she's innocent because what happened was a family tragedy. Well, Miss Lori, I hate to tell you this, but family tragedies such as that are not a tragedy to anyone but yourself, because it could have been prevented. And you are the reason that the whole family is gone now, basically. Tylee, JJ, Charles, and then Chad's wife, Tammy. 4 people. And then, after all that's done, said and done with, Alex passes away on his potty from a blood clot, allegedly. I feel like, in my opinion, that, yeah, it was probably a self-doing. But, anyhow. Right, thank you, Nye. Let me think. What am I missing here? There's something I'm missing. I'm going to say. I'm scared to do too much moving around on here because I don't want everything to shut down on me, which it's liable to. I just wanted to jump on and give a quick recap. I do want to say there was some comical comments I seen yesterday, and different. Yes, he did burden. Charles was a great man, and even there's a video that just came out last night, from Larry and Kay Woodcock, who are JJ and Tyler's grandparents. Who, if it was not for Kay getting involved and trying to find the kids, never would have probably known they were missing or anything. So, big thoughts and prayers to Kay and Larry and all their family, because Charles Vallow was Kay's brother. So a lot of people were impacted by all this. The thing that was comical about this trial yesterday, though, and I said it whenever she first started wanting to represent herself, her and any other females, Legally Blonde, Reese Witherspoon, where she's like stuck trying to figure out what to say. Well, there was a moment like that yesterday. I will get a clip, I promise, and I will post it on my YouTube. But someone said in the comments on Court TV, said, "Oh, so now she can do the bend and snap in front of the firemen." And I'll laugh so hard on that. Testimony from the first responder explain how there is no way CPR. Yes, exactly. He said he could just tell. The fireman said that he could tell by doing the CPR that he was already gone. So, yeah. I wish I could think of all the witnesses that were there yesterday. Lori did do another interview also. She did one with Arizona First. And in it, she said, "I'm not an attorney. We are very well aware that you are not an attorney. But go ahead and try to be a female Daryl Brooks, because right now, as it's looking, Daryl Brooks did way better representing himself than you probably ever will, Lori. Cult mom, Vallow, wannabe goddess, Daybell." So, yeah, exactly. I seen that this morning. I was replaying it, and I seen that because I missed that yesterday. Y'all know how it is when I eat or whatever, especially during trials. I'm gonna go to sleep. It's just a given that's gonna happen. So, but let me think. We ended yesterday with the fireman on the stand still, so I'm kind of interested in seeing what the rest of that testimony is going to be like. I think, I know, I believe, don't quote me, please, one of the witnesses will be Kay Woodcock. I cannot wait for that. The pure hell that Kay has went through because of this woman, because of Lori, is just nauseating. Kay let or she was agreeable to allow Charles, her brother, and Lori adopt JJ with nothing but good thoughts of, them being happy together and raising JJ together. And look what happened. A tragedy to a family that did not deserve it. It's nonsense. And I say this with every trial that we have involving stuff like this. Yes, we have mental issues going on throughout everything with these cases. But yeah, Larry's health, yeah, she's took them through it. But when they say they're competent yeah, they're competent because they damn sure was competent enough to unalive people. So they're competent in my eyes to stand trial. But if they keep having issues, like, I don't know, I don't think they should try that competency thing. I do know that there are some people who do have some issues, like Taylor Shabusiness. Oh my gosh. And yes, she has struck again in the courtroom, another attorney. That was comical and a half. But it happens. But do not ruin it for those that do have true mental issues that commit crimes. That's just my thought. And because there are people who have been pushed to the brink of no return that snap. And, they do something that, like women who are Marsha Thompson, the domestic violence case out of Florida, not too long ago, she was found not guilty for the unaliving of her husband / boyfriend, whatever, but he took her through there. Me, myself. I mean, so far so good since I've been home, but I know people personally that have been pushed to the point to where they it happens. And when you reach out to law enforcement or whatever to get assistance from them and they don't do nothing, like Charles, for instance, yeah, law enforcement, I feel like, failed Charles VALLOW because he reached out. He did. He reached out. And the same thing goes for me, too, Burden, what I just said. Competency and insanity. That's powerful right there. Powerful. Competency is when you are mentally stable enough to do something. Insanity is pure idiocracy and craziness. And in my opinion, insanity needs to be attached to every person who is charged with a serial unaliving, for instance, because what is insanity? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again without getting anything changed. Those people like that are insane. And like Lori, lawyer Lori, thinking she can still sing that same song and dance, flash that ugly pretty smile of hers, and her jailhouse curls and her jailhouse makeup, thinking she can bat those mascaraed eyelashes that was probably put on with a colored pencil. Just stating a fact. Been there, done that, got the Federal Register number to prove it. She's insane. She literally is insane. And they just might as well just go ahead and give her sentence now, because we already know it's going to be the max. I mean, we already know. Anyone who is crazy enough to say that their children have a dark spirit, anyone who did not agree with them had a dark spirit, Yeah, that's insanity. That is insanity. So, that being said, day 2 of this trial begins here in about a couple of hours. Yesterday, I think it was like 11:30 when we were able to get into. Same here, Burden. Same. I know I feel your pain, and y'all been right here with me through all my stuff, and I'm very thankful for that. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know what I would have done. A lot of times, and the ones that are still here helping me. I have a strong support system. I have a great support system, and yeah, it's that's another reason why I haven't really done a lot of lives, because when you go through stuff like that and you're a victim of things such as that, um, you kind of don't want to, be seen. You don't care to be heard or whatever, but you don't want to be seen because you don't want where you are at to be disclosed. But anyway, thank you so much, Nye. Thank you, Burden. My little eyeball keeps fluctuating, but it's because I need a new memory for my laptop and things like that. So it's on my list to get a new one anyhow. I've crashed my main one, so that one's down. I'm down to just one. Oh, I'm sorry, Burden. You've also had a lot of good though. For any of you who don't know, Burden Approved, she is not only a mod for me, she is a very close friend of me. I trust her with my life. She has a Facebook group, Burden Approved. Burden, you can drop your links too. She's wonderful. There were times when I didn't think I was gonna come out of my shell at all, and she was a wonderful friend. She's still a wonderful friend, and I trust her with my life. And if there's anything ever I can do to help, let me know, Burden, and I'll do my best. There's a lot of folks on here online that I probably never would have gave a second chance to in my past or whatever. But after going through everything I went through, I seen it was safe to open up and get some things off my chest. But that's a whole nother stream and a whole nother uh, live there. At the bottom of the screen, you will see a banner running across. It has hotline numbers, domestic violence, suicide prevention, sexual assault, abuse hotline. I want everyone to know that you are not alone, that there are options out there for you. Star 988 is the national hotline number for the suicide prevention. You're gonna make me cry, Burden. You are gonna make me cry, but you deserve to be validated. Everyone who will help someone else deserves to be validated. Where I live at now, it's one of my good guy friends and his sister, and I don't know what I would do without them, because I've been at my lowest. I mean, it was bad, and if it wasn't for them too, I'd have gave up completely. But I'm thankful that I didn't, because if I'd have gave up, who'd be sitting here bashing Lori, lawyer Lori? I mean, I know there's some out there, but who would do it from the bottom of their heart and stuff? And Burden, you're great at what you do with all the true crime stuff. And I know it gets aggravating and stuff, but I remember someone, a little Bob, once told me, don't let it get you down. If that's your passion, express it. Y'all like that little bop I said, that little bop? Anyway, Burden's got me in, my eyes are tearing up now. But anyhow, I hope everyone has a great day. I'm going to try to attempt to get a live done each morning like this, just a quick recap of the day before. I was gonna do it at night after the trial got done, but when I seen that trial ended about 7 o'clock last night, my time, Central Time, I was like, nah, we'll just do it in the mornings because that way we can do a quick, recap from the day before. I can let you guys know if y'all aren't able to watch the trial or whatever, just what happened basically, and just like we just did a video. So I'll try to get that done every day that I can and things. So probably try to do it around this time because, like I said yesterday, I think we was able to access the trial stream, the live stream about 11ish, 11:30ish. So, but anyway, I'm gonna copy what my friend Burden of Proof used to always say at the end of hers. When you leave with love and show love. Because without love, it's bad, it's evil, it's not cool. So be kind to one another. Well, hopefully we can get this going to where I can do it every morning. I think it might work. And as if I don't fall back asleep. Y'all know how I do with trials when it's trials. So yeah, hopefully everything will be good and we can do this every morning. So I kind of miss you guys, these trials, we were one with the trials. Okay, thank you, Nah. I appreciate that. And yeah, I noticed, I know y'all noticed that I actually scheduled this like ahead of time. I got it scheduled earlier this morning. I was gonna do it last night, but I didn't get to last night. But I did do it this morning, well before we were fixing to begin. So anyway, I love y'all. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and share it out. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. I'm all over the place on social media. So, if you like what you see, you're interested in more, remember there are many people out there who are missing, who need to be found. Families deserve closures. And that's why this case is kind of an important case, a high profile case, because there's family that needs closure in this. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Have a great day and be blessed.